Imagine this. It is 6 a.m. You walk into your kitchen still half asleep, ready to start your day, and then it hits you. That wall of ammonia. That sharp, sour, eye-watering stench rolling out of the corner where the litter box sits. You gag a little. You crack a window. And you think to yourself, why does my house smell like this when I clean the box every single day? If you are living with that invisible cloud of cat urine hanging in your home right now, I want you to know something. I know exactly how embarrassing it is. I know that sinking feeling when a friend walks through your front door and you watch their nose wrinkle for just a split second before they politely pretend they didn't smell anything. And I know how frustrating it is to spend a fortune on those expensive scented litters, those plug-in air fresheners, and those pricey deodorizing sprays that only mask the smell for an hour before that ammonia comes roaring right back. But what if I told you that you don't need any of those expensive products, and you don't need to drown your home in artificial perfumes to make that stink disappear? What if I told you that the real secret to a completely odorless litter box is something almost every one of you already has sitting inside your kitchen pantry right now? If you saw the thumbnail of this video, you saw the promise. Today, I am going to show you exactly how one simple, cheap kitchen ingredient sprinkled into that box can neutralize the ammonia at the source, wipe out the bacteria that causes the stench, and make that smell vanish almost instantly. Hi everyone, I'm your neighborhood veterinarian, and welcome back to the channel. In my clinic, litter box odor and litter box troubles are honestly one of the most common frustrations cat parents come to me about. We are taught to just buy the most heavily perfumed litter on the shelf and spray something flowery into the air to cover it up. But as a holistic-leaning vet, I don't believe in masking a problem. I believe in fixing the root cause. And here is the truth that the big pet product companies do not want you to know. That horrible smell is not just dirty litter. It is a chemical reaction happening in real time, and once you understand exactly what is going on, you can shut it down completely and permanently. Now, I know a lot of you are also dealing with a cat who has started avoiding the box entirely, or urinating outside of it on the floor or the carpet, and that is a slightly different problem with its own separate root causes. I actually posted a whole separate video dedicated to why cats stop using the litter box. So if that is your main struggle, definitely go check out that video after this one. But today, we are focusing entirely on the smell. We are doing a complete masterclass on how to eliminate litter box odor from the inside out. So grab a notebook, because I am going to give you a simple, practical, step-by-step guide on how to kill the stink instantly today, and then how to build a permanently fresh, odor-free home going forward. And before we go any further, if you find this genuinely helpful, do me a quick favor and hit that subscribe button and tap the notification bell so you never miss these masterclasses. It truly helps this channel reach and protect so many more cats. Alright, let's get into it. Let's start with step 1, and this is the one that gives you immediate relief tonight. Before we fix anything long-term, we have to neutralize the smell that is already living in your home right now. So let me explain what that ammonia stench actually is, because once you understand it, everything else is going to make perfect sense. When your cat urinates, the urine itself is not what smells so terrible in that very first moment. But cat urine is absolutely packed with a compound called urea. And the moment that urine sits in the box, the bacteria that naturally live in there begin to break that urea down. As those bacteria feed on it, they release ammonia gas. That is the sharp, choking, eye-watering smell that punches you in the face at 6 in the morning. And here is the important part. Ammonia is alkaline. It is a base on the pH scale. So to truly neutralize it, we don't need a perfume. We need something that gently absorbs it and shifts the environment against it. And the answer is sitting in your baking cupboard right now. Plain, ordinary baking soda. Baking soda is not a cover-up. It does not hide the smell behind a fake fragrance. It chemically neutralizes it. Baking soda is what chemists call amphoteric, which is just a fancy way of saying it can grab onto and neutralize both acidic and alkaline odor molecules, including that ammonia. It literally reaches out, binds to the smell, and deactivates it instead of masking it. Here is exactly how to use it, and the order matters. Start with a completely clean, empty, dry box. Sprinkle a thin, even layer of plain baking soda across the very bottom of the box before you add any litter at all. Then pour your regular litter right on top of it. As your cat uses the box throughout the day, the baking soda underneath quietly absorbs and neutralizes the odor as it forms, before it ever has a chance to fill the room. You can also lightly dust a little more over the top of the fresh litter once a week to keep it working. Within just a few hours, you will notice that heavy ammonia cloud is simply gone. It is honestly one of the most satisfying changes you can make, because it costs almost nothing and it works right away, the very first night you try it. But please hear this important vet warning because this part really matters. Use plain, unscented baking soda only. Do not use any scented baking soda products, and do not go overboard with the amount. A thin layer is more than plenty. Cats have an incredibly sensitive sense of smell, many times more powerful than ours. And if you dump a thick pile of powder in there, or use anything heavily perfumed, your cat may decide the entire box is unpleasant and stop using it altogether. And a cat who stops using the box is a far bigger problem than a little odor. So remember, less is always more. A light, even dusting, does the job perfectly without ever bothering your cat. Now, what if the smell is not just floating in the air but seems to be soaked right into the box itself? What if you have washed that plastic box a dozen times and it still reeks the moment it gets warm on a summer afternoon? My friends, if the plastic itself smells, you have a bacteria and urine crystal problem that is literally baked into the surface. Over time, urine seeps into the tiny microscopic scratches and grooves in the plastic and crystallizes there, and no amount of regular dish soap will ever pull it back out. For this, we go right back to the kitchen and grab plain white vinegar. Vinegar is acidic, and remember what we just learned, ammonia is alkaline. So when you use vinegar to clean that box, the acid neutralizes those alkaline urine crystals and dissolves them right off the plastic surface. Empty the box completely, pour in a mix of equal parts white vinegar and warm water, and let the whole thing soak for about 15 minutes. Then scrub it well and rinse it thoroughly. That deep set-in smell that somehow survived a dozen normal washes will finally let go. And here's a crucial vet warning for this one too. Never, ever mix vinegar with bleach or with any other cleaning product, because combining them can create genuinely dangerous, toxic fumes. Use the vinegar on its own. And when you finish cleaning the box with vinegar, make sure you rinse it completely and let it air dry fully before you add any fresh litter. Cats are quite sensitive to a strong vinegar smell, and the whole goal here is a box that smells like nothing at all, not like a salad dressing. Plain, clean, and completely neutral is exactly what we are aiming for. Alright, so the immediate stink is handled. Your home already smells dramatically better tonight than it did this morning. Now we move to step 2, where we build a permanently fresh box, because a truly odor-free home is about smart daily habits, not just a single clever trick. The single biggest mistake I see, and I mean the #1 cause of a smelly home by a mile, is not the litter at all. It is the scooping schedule. So many loving, well-meaning cat parents scoop once a day, or every other day, and they genuinely believe that is enough. But think back to what we learned. That urea is being broken down into ammonia gas the entire time that clump sits in the box. Every single hour it sits there, it is releasing more and more stench into your home. The fix is simple, but it does require consistency. Scoop the box at least twice a day, ideally once in the morning and once again in the evening. If you remove the waste before the bacteria have the time to fully break it down, the ammonia never gets the chance to build up in the first place. This one habit alone will transform your home more than any expensive product you could ever buy off a shelf. And this brings me straight to the next piece, which is the litter itself, and specifically how deep it should be. Most people pour in a shallow, skimpy little layer of litter to try to save some money. But when that layer is too thin, urine sinks straight down to the bottom, pools against the bare plastic, and soaks in. And that is exactly what creates that deep, trapped, seemingly impossible smell. Instead, you want a nice deep bed of litter, roughly 3 inches deep. That depth allows the litter to fully surround and absorb the urine into one clean, solid clump that you can lift out completely in one scoop, instead of letting it puddle and spread across the bottom of the box. A good deep bed also gives your cat plenty of loose material to dig into and properly bury their waste, and that burying instinct is one of nature's own odor control systems. When a cat can fully cover what they leave behind, Far less smell escapes into the room in the first place. Now let me talk about the box itself because the type of box you own actually matters enormously. So many people go out and buy a covered hooded litter box because they assume the lid will trap the smell inside and keep their home smelling fresher. I completely understand why that seems logical, but it is actually one of the worst things you can do. A hooded box does not eliminate the odor at all. It just traps all of that concentrated ammonia gas inside a small enclosed space, and then forces your poor cat to climb into that little gas chamber and breathe it in every single time they go. It is genuinely unpleasant for them, and it is a huge, overlooked reason that cats start refusing to use their box. An open, uncovered box placed in a well-ventilated area allows the air to move freely and the moisture to evaporate, which dramatically cuts down on the smell that builds up. And here is another one that surprises almost everybody: the size and the number of boxes you own. That overwhelming 6 in the morning smell very often comes down to simple overcrowding. The golden rule in veterinary medicine is 1 litter box per cat plus 1 extra box on top. So if you have 2 cats, you should really have 3 boxes. When too many cats are forced to share too few boxes, those boxes get overwhelmed incredibly fast, and the smell becomes impossible to control no matter what you sprinkle into them. And make sure each box is actually big enough for your cat. It should be at least 1.5 times the length of your cat from nose to tail base, so they can comfortably turn around, dig, and properly cover their waste. I want to take one quick moment here, because we are just about halfway through and you are learning so much already. If any of this is starting to click for you, please take a second to hit that like button. It genuinely helps this holistic, safe advice reach more cat parents who are quietly struggling with the exact same thing in their own homes right now. Thank you so much. All right, now let's keep going, because the next part is where the real, lasting magic happens. Now we move to step 3, the part that almost nobody ever talks about, and this is the true root cause fix that separates a temporarily fresh home from a permanently odor-free one. Because here is a secret I have learned over many years in the clinic. Sometimes the sheer strength of that smell has almost nothing to do with your box or your litter at all. Sometimes the smell is coming from inside your cat. Let me explain exactly what I mean. The intensity of that ammonia odor is directly connected to your cat's diet and to their hydration. If your cat's urine is extremely concentrated and powerfully strong smelling, it will simply overwhelm any litter you could ever buy. And the number one cause of that dangerously concentrated urine is chronic, low-grade dehydration. Think for a moment about how a cat actually evolved. Cats are descended from desert-dwelling animals, and their bodies are built to get most of their water directly from their prey, which is naturally around 70% moisture. But now think about what most of us feed our cats every single day. Dry kibble, which is only about 10% moisture. When a cat eats a diet of nothing but dry food, day after day, month after month, they end up living in a constant state of mild, ongoing dehydration. Their body compensates the only way it can, by producing very concentrated, very pungent, ammonia-heavy urine. And that intensely strong, concentrated urine is what makes your entire home reek, no matter how diligently and how often you scoop that box. So the real fix, the one that finally addresses the actual root cause, is to get more water into your cat. And the single easiest, most effective way to do this is to add wet, canned food to their daily diet. Good canned food is around 75% moisture, which beautifully mimics the natural prey diet that your cat's kidneys and bladder were designed for. When you switch some or all of their meals over to wet food, their urine naturally becomes more diluted, less concentrated, and dramatically less smelly. You are quite literally fixing the smell from the inside out. And as a wonderful bonus, all that extra hydration takes a huge amount of strain off your cat's kidneys and bladder, helping to prevent the painful urinary problems that send so many cats into my clinic in the first place. You can also encourage a lot more drinking by getting your cat a water fountain. Cats are instinctively drawn to moving, running water. It is an ancient survival instinct, because in the wild, running water is far safer to drink than still, stagnant water. Many cats who barely touch a regular still bowl will happily drink far more from a gently flowing fountain. And remember the simple equation here. More water going in means more diluted urine, which means far less smell coming out into your home. It really is that simple, and it is one of those rare fixes that improves both the smell in your house and the long-term health of your cat at the exact same time. And here is one more powerful root cause tip that I truly need every one of you to hear. Please make sure your cat is getting regular checkups with your own trusted veterinarian. Because a sudden dramatic change in the smell, the strength, or the frequency of your cat's urine can sometimes be an early warning sign of something more serious, like a urinary tract infection, kidney disease, or even diabetes. If your cat's litter box suddenly smells far worse than it normally does, or if you notice them straining to go, visiting the box far more often than usual, crying out, or having accidents around the house, please do not just reach for more baking soda and call it a day. Get them properly examined by a vet. Sometimes that smell is genuinely your cat's own body trying to send you an important message, and catching a problem early can quite literally add years to their life. You are their voice, and you are the only one who can act on it. Wow, we have covered an absolutely enormous amount of information today. Plain baking soda, white vinegar, scooping twice a day, a deeper bed of litter, open uncovered boxes, the right number of boxes, wet canned food, and proper hydration. And I can already imagine that some of you are feeling a little overwhelmed right now, wondering how on earth you are going to do every single one of these things all at once. So here is the golden rule, my friends. You do not need to do everything on this list tonight. In fact, please don't. If you try to change absolutely everything at once, you will overwhelm yourself, and you will probably stress out your cat with far too many sudden changes all at the same time. The real beauty of this approach is that it is simple, cheap, and gradual. So here is my easy, foolproof action plan. Tonight, I just want you to do two things. First, sprinkle a thin, even layer of plain, unscented baking soda into the bottom of a freshly cleaned box before you add the litter. And second, make a firm commitment to scooping that box twice a day, starting tomorrow morning. That is it. Just those two simple changes alone will make a massive, noticeable difference in how your home smells within 24 hours. Then, over the next couple of weeks, you can slowly layer in the rest at your own pace. Maybe next week you add an extra box for your second cat, or you start mixing a little wet food into their dinner, or you deep clean that plastic box with the vinegar soak. Slow and steady always wins this race. Just stay consistent with these simple, cheap, natural steps. And I promise you, that dreaded wall of ammonia at 6 in the morning will very soon become nothing but a distant memory. Living with a constantly smelly litter box can honestly make you feel embarrassed and defeated in your own home, like you are fighting a losing battle that you can never quite win. But by choosing to sit here and educate yourself, by looking for the real root cause instead of just masking it over and over with harsh chemicals and artificial perfumes, you are proving exactly what a truly wonderful, thoughtful, and caring cat parent you really are. Your cat is so lucky to have someone in their corner who cares this deeply about their comfort, their happiness, and their health. If this masterclass gave you real hope today, and if you are excited to finally banish that smell from your home for good, please do me one last favor and hit that like button, and make absolutely sure you are subscribed with that notification bell turned on so you never miss our deep dives into your cat's health and happiness. And please, leave me a comment down below right now. I would truly love to know, what does your litter box situation look like at home? And which one of these tips are you going to try first tonight? I try my best to read every single comment, and I love seeing our little community help and support each other. So go on and give your sweet, beautiful cat a gentle scratch under the chin for me tonight. Stay well, and always trust your instincts.